Welcome. This is episode 4 of Kickin Knowledge with Yang. And today we're going to talk about self-compassion. So first of all, this is the first episode being filmed in the new office. And as you can see, we'll have boxes around. We're still setting up. And you have Cyrus over here on his desk. Cyrus, where are you? Yeah, that's my office mate. And so, what is self-compassion? I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? In the label itself, compassion for the self. It's a very simple term or idea, but it's very radical, and it's been a game changer for me. So I'm speaking specifically about mindful self-compassion, and this is a program um, created by Kristen Neff and Dr. Kristen Neff and Dr. Chris Germer or Germer. I'm sorry, how do you pronounce that? Is it Germer or Germer?
I think it's Germer.
Germer, yeah. And Kristen Neff was the first to operationally define the term and study it, but then she also pioneered this 8-week course called Mindful Self-Compassion. And we have a psychotherapist over here, Gwen Brem, who offers the class here at ISH, the 8-week course, and I've done it 4 times. So why? Obviously, you can see this is very important to me. I'll tell you why. So I had been meditating for 6 years, about 6 years, consistently before I took this course, and I had so many benefits. Now, what taking this mindful self-compassion did to me was it took everything I had experienced, cultivated within myself, and brought an extra layer of wholeness to it. And so in defining self-compassion, right, self is compassion for the self. But Kristen Neff always loves using this description. It's treating yourself how you would a dear friend you cared about. And so a lot of times you don't even notice how much self-criticism we put ourselves through, how much judgment, how we hold ourselves to certain standards that are unrealistic, and how we wouldn't judge others that badly if they fell from those standards, but we don't even know we're doing these things to ourselves. And that's where the mindfulness comes in. So first we start to become aware of our suffering and of the ways in which we tear ourselves down, and then we start to bring compassion to that. So it's really it goes beyond just being a feel-good idea. I found it to be very, very healing. So I'll speak more personally about my path, right? And what I had started to understand from meditating, I started to cultivate more awareness, both of myself, my habits, the way my life and my situations were unfolding in real time. And deep meditation would always bring about some level of compassion. And I started to play more and more with the idea of intrinsic self-worth. This idea that I was okay, or I am okay exactly as I am. But what the self-compassion techniques and school of thought did is they took that and they expanded upon that concept of intrinsic self-worth and really working with that. And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So a favorite quote of mine that Gwen normally says in the program is, every meditative technique will end up failing, and this is because it's a technique. It's ultimately we're trying to fix something, we're trying to get somewhere we don't feel as present, and we're trying to become more present. We don't feel like we accept ourselves, and we're trying to ease our suffering. Well, mindful self-compassion is we don't practice it to ease or to solve or cure our suffering. We do it because we suffer, and it stops at that. A simple example is just this recognition of suffering itself. So perhaps an example would be, perhaps you failed a test and now you're beating yourself like, if only I had studied here, or if only, and you're dealing with the if onlys, and you take a deep breath and you become present and you're aware of what you're doing and the self-talk you're inhabiting right there. And in that moment, You don't immediately go, okay, this is bad. I've been self-talking and now I have to fix that. You don't go there. You take it the other direction, which is where it starts to turn radical, is you simply notice this is a moment of suffering. And you hold yourself in that awareness, like in that moment, the way you would a friend who you realize is going through a tough situation and maybe they're beating themselves up, and you stay there with them and you presence them and you just hold that. You do that, but you do it for yourself. And it's odd. We often criticize ourselves in this culture for being self-indulgent. Yet at the same time, we're hyper self-critical. So we're very individualistic, but that means we hold ourselves to these high standards and we critique every little aspect of our ways of being. And it's easy for the ego to co-opt meditative techniques and spiritual disciplines and use those standards for a new yardstick to beat ourselves up for whenever we fall short of that. And so it's the human game, and it's funny that we do these things, right? And here we just bring that. That's why I call this a game changer. So sometimes it's not anything particularly new. What's a direction we normally wouldn't just go in naturally, you know. And sometimes even when we're meditating, we end up giving ourselves a harder time than is necessary, and it defeats the purpose of the spiritual discipline of meditation. When we start to attach all the yardsticks of how long was I present, how long did I do this, oh, I felt this way, I should have been feeling that way, I wasn't present in that moment. And we start to do the whole gamut of situations again. And so this isn't about trying to get to any particular place. It's about really presencing where we are, and this is the key thing, in that place, offering ourselves some measure of kindness. And there are techniques for that. So I'm not going to go into specific detail with each technique or element of the course. You have to look it up. There are resources online as well. You can go to selfcompassion.org, or you could also buy the book, Self-Compassion by Christine Neff. We have dreams, we have standards we want, we have ideals we hold ourselves to, and we realize that we struggle, we attain some, we don't attain some, and we start to come to some measure of peace and acceptance of ourselves, no matter the external circumstance, and no matter any quality we have or we feel we should have and we don't have yet. We start to realize that this flows not just here, but it flows outward to everyone else. And so the more personal the problem, the more personal the sense of inadequacy, I've found it to be that those are the most universal feelings. And so practicing self-compassion starts to lead, I found it leads me to this sense of shared humanity. I mean, it puts us smack in the middle of the human experience. And so the more we accept of ourselves, the more accepting we become of others. And furthermore, the more permission we give others to accept themselves as they are when they're around us, and we inspire that in others as well. Until it becomes this microcosm that keeps spreading and growing of greater and greater healing, you know, not just for ourselves, but the people around us. It's a beautiful thing. So check out the course, or buy the book, or check out the website. Learn something. The divine light within me honors the divine light in each and every one of you watching this right now. Namaste.